History is full of stories, but what about the civilizations that simply vanished? These are the tales that truly capture our imagination, the ultimate cold cases of history. I have spent my life chasing these whispers across the globe. It is the thrill of the unknown, the hunt for answers buried under layers of time. They are puzzles waiting to be solved. Imagine a society that reached incredible heights and then disappeared. We see a reflection of ourselves in their stories. This fascination drives us to explore and piece together the fragments of their existence. It is another thing entirely to stand where they stood and to feel the silence of their abandoned homes. By uncovering their fate, perhaps we can learn something about our own. Our journey begins with a simple premise. Civilizations are not supposed to just disappear. They evolve, they merge, they are conquered. But to vanish off the face of the earth is something else. It leaves a void in our historical record, a blank page that archaeologists and adventurers are determined to fill. Think about it, a thriving culture with art, science, and a unique way of life suddenly gone. It is a story that feels incomplete, a puzzle with crucial pieces missing. This is what makes the search so compelling. We are not just digging for objects, we are digging for the final chapter of their story, a chapter that was never written down for us to read. The clues we follow are often faint and scattered. A strange pattern on a satellite image, a local legend about a city of gold, a single out-of-place artifact found in a remote location. These are the starting points for expeditions that can lead to incredible discoveries. The work is painstaking and often frustrating. You spend weeks, sometimes months, following a lead that goes nowhere. But then, you find something. A piece of pottery, a carved stone, the corner of a buried wall. Suddenly, the past comes rushing into the present. That single discovery can rewrite history and bring a lost world back into the light for the first time in centuries. In this series, we will travel to the epicenters of these great mysteries. We will explore the jungle-choked ruins of the Maya in Central America, a society of brilliant astronomers and architects who abandoned their magnificent cities. We will journey to the cradle of civilization in Mesopotamia, where the world's first cities rose from the plains, only to be buried by the sands of time. We will also investigate the remarkably advanced urban centers of the Indus Valley, a civilization whose writing we still cannot decipher and whose disappearance remains one of the most profound puzzles in archaeology. Each of these cultures has a unique and powerful story to tell us. These are not just tales of failure or collapse. They are also stories of incredible achievement and human ingenuity. Before they vanished, these civilizations accomplished extraordinary things. They built cities that rivaled any in the world. They developed sophisticated systems of government, trade, and agriculture. They created breathtaking art and unlocked secrets of the cosmos. By exploring their rise as well as their fall, we gain a deeper appreciation for the heights that humanity can reach. Their legacy is not just one of mystery, but also one of inspiration, a reminder of the incredible things we are capable of achieving. Of all the lost civilizations, Atlantis echoes loudest. It sparks instant recognition, conjuring images of a magnificent island kingdom. A single day and night of misfortune swallowed it by the sea. This story has captivated treasure hunters, philosophers, and explorers for thousands of years. But is it just a story? Or is there a kernel of truth buried deep beneath the waves, waiting to be rediscovered? The tale of Atlantis comes to us from Plato, who wrote about this powerful island nation. He spoke of a city with walls coated in precious metals and a temple dedicated to Poseidon. As punishment for their hubris, the gods sent a terrible cataclysm, sinking the entire landmass. For centuries, most scholars believed Plato's story was just that, a story. But what if it was more? He gives the location of Atlantis as beyond the Strait of Gibraltar, fueling endless speculation. It has sent countless adventurers on a quest to find physical evidence of this legendary lost world. The idea that Atlantis was real is incredibly tantalizing. If Atlantis was a real place, where would we even begin to look? The search has spanned the globe. One compelling candidate is Santorini, known as Thera. Around 1600 BC, it was home to the Minoans. Then disaster struck. The volcano erupted with unimaginable force, triggering colossal tsunamis. The Minoan settlement, Akrotiri, was buried in ash, preserved in detail. The parallels between Thera's fate and Plato's Atlantis are striking. A powerful island civilization destroyed. Discrepancies fuel other theories, but the search often leads to real discoveries, like Akrotiri. Whether Atlantis was real or not, its story carries a powerful message about the fragility of civilization. Plato's tale tells us that no matter how powerful, advanced, or wealthy a society becomes, it is never immune to collapse. The Atlanteans believed they were invincible, but their pride and moral decay led to their downfall. That's a humbling thought, especially for us today. The legacy of Atlantis is not found in sunken ruins, but in the question, could it happen to us? We face our own global challenges. The story of Atlantis reminds us that nature is a force far more powerful than anything we can build, and that our existence is precarious. The myth persists because it speaks to a deep-seated human anxiety. It is a cultural touchstone that inspires both awe and caution. The whispers from this sunken kingdom are a warning that echoes from the deep, urging us to be better guardians of our own world. Deep in Central America, a mystery awaits. Magnificent stone cities lay forgotten for centuries, swallowed by the forest. These were the cities of the Maya, master builders, brilliant astronomers, and sophisticated artists. Their world was one of towering pyramids and a deep connection to the cosmos. The achievements of the Maya are staggering, especially without the wheel or metal tools. Cities like Tikal were architectural marvels, carefully planned urban centers aligned with the sun, moon, and stars. The Maya had a profound understanding of astronomy and time, more advanced than any other culture. Their beliefs were etched into stone monuments, creating a rich tapestry of history. It was a collection of powerful city-states, often at war, ruled by divine kings. As archaeologists decipher their writing, the silent stones of the Maya are beginning to speak again. So what was it like to live in one of these bustling Maya cities? It was a world of sharp contrasts. In the city centers lived the elite. The kings, priests, and nobles resided in large stone palaces surrounding the grand plazas. Their lives were filled with elaborate rituals, intricate courtly politics, and the pursuit of knowledge. They were the keepers of the calendar, the masters of the written word, and the commanders of armies. Their clothing was vibrant, adorned with jade, shells, and the brilliant feathers of the quetzal bird. They consumed rich foods like chocolate, a drink reserved for the powerful, and oversaw the complex ceremonies that they believed kept the universe in balance. Away from the monumental core, the majority of the Maya people lived a very different life. They were farmers, the backbone of the entire civilization. They lived in more modest houses made of wood and thatch, scattered in settlements surrounding the major cities. Their lives were tied to the rhythms of the land and the demands of their rulers. They cultivated maize, beans, and squash, using sophisticated agricultural techniques like terracing and raised fields to make the most of the difficult jungle soil. These farmers paid taxes in the form of food and labor, which supported the elite and made the construction of the massive temples and palaces possible. Life for everyone, from the king to the common farmer, was steeped in religion. The Maya worldview was incredibly complex, populated by a vast pantheon of gods who controlled everything from the rain to the harvest to the movement of the stars. They believed the world was a dangerous place, and that constant rituals and sacrifices were needed to appease these powerful deities. This included bloodletting ceremonies, where the elite would pierce their own bodies to offer their sacred blood. In more extreme cases, it involved human sacrifice, often using captives taken in battle, to nourish the gods and ensure the continuation of the cosmos. Beyond farming and religion, the Maya were also skilled artisans and traders. They created breathtaking pottery, intricate jade carvings, and delicate textiles that were traded across vast networks. These trade routes connected the jungle cities with communities on the coast and in the highlands, bringing in essential goods like salt, obsidian for tools, and luxury items for the ruling class. Maya society was a vibrant and complex organism. It was a world where science and spirituality were one and the same, where every aspect of life was interwoven with a deep cosmic significance, all recorded in the beautiful and mysterious glyphs they left behind for us to decipher. Then, something went terribly wrong. Around the 9th century AD, the heartbeat of the southern Maya lowlands began to fade. One by one, the great cities were abandoned. The construction of grand temples and monuments ceased. The intricate carvings of royal histories stopped. People seemed to simply walk away from the homes their ancestors had occupied for centuries. The jungle, always waiting at the edges, began its slow, steady work of reclaiming the stone plazas and pyramids. Within a few generations, these once teeming centers of power and culture fell silent, leaving behind one of the greatest demographic mysteries in all of history. What could cause an entire civilization to collapse so completely? There is no single, easy answer. The collapse was not a single event, but a complex process that unfolded over more than a century. Archaeologists and scientists have proposed many theories, and the truth is likely a combination of several factors. One of the leading theories points to the environment. After centuries of population growth, the Maya may have pushed their fragile ecosystem to its breaking point. Widespread deforestation to clear land for farming and to fuel the fires for making lime plaster could have led to soil erosion and localized droughts, making it harder and harder to feed the massive populations in the cities. Evidence from lakebed sediments and cave stalagmites in the region points to another culprit: severe, prolonged climate change. The data suggests that this period of collapse coincided with a series of intense droughts that lasted for decades at a time. In a society so dependent on regular rainfall for its agriculture and drinking water, a mega-drought would have been catastrophic. It would have led to crop failures, famine, and widespread disease. This would have shattered the people's faith in their kings, who were supposed to be able to communicate with the gods to ensure a good harvest. When the rains failed, the divine authority of the rulers crumbled. This crisis likely fueled the flames of another existing problem: endemic warfare. As resources became scarcer, the conflicts between the city-states, always a feature of Maya life, probably escalated dramatically. We see evidence of increased fortifications around some cities in the final years. The fight for dwindling food and water supplies would have become desperate and brutal. A combination of environmental collapse, loss of faith in leadership, and intensified warfare created a perfect storm. There was no single killing blow, but rather a slow, agonizing decline. People abandoned the failing cities and moved away, seeking survival in smaller, more sustainable communities, leaving the great stone monuments to the silence of the jungle. Our expedition moves from the jungles to the arid plains of the Middle East, Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This is the Fertile Crescent in modern-day Iraq, not a land of mystery, but one buried beneath sand, the cradle of civilization. 6,000 years ago, humanity took a leap forward. Here, we invented the city. Imagine a world with no cities. They irrigated the land, creating an agricultural surplus. Not everyone had to be a farmer. Priests, soldiers, artisans, and scribes emerged. This was the birth of urban life. Writing was invented, not for poetry, but for accounting. The wheel was first used for transport. We owe the foundations of our modern world to these cities of mud brick. But this is also a land of forgotten empires. Sumerians, Babylonians, Assyrians, each built upon the last, waiting for archaeologists to uncover their secrets. Let's start with the Sumerians, emerging in southern Mesopotamia around 4000 BC. They established the first city-states, each with its own patron god. At the heart of each city stood a ziggurat, conceived as man-made mountains. The Great Ziggurat of Ur still stands today. They developed the first known legal codes and recorded everything on clay tablets. Around 2334 BC, Sargon of Akkad conquered the Sumerian city-states, forging the Akkadian Empire. This was the world's first empire. After about 150 years, the Akkadian Empire collapsed due to drought, famine, and internal rebellions. The capital city of Akkad has never been found, a ghost waiting to be discovered. The Assyrians, fierce warriors from northern Mesopotamia, built an empire stretching from Egypt to Persia. Their capital, Nineveh, was a marvel of the ancient world. Ashurbanipal, their last great king, was as much a scholar as a conqueror. He sent scribes across his empire to collect every text they could find: myths, epics, science, medicine, magic, and history. These clay tablets formed the world's first systematic library, a treasure trove of Mesopotamian knowledge. In 612 BC, Nineveh fell. The city was destroyed, but the fire that consumed it baked the clay tablets, preserving them for millennia. Buried and forgotten, the library waited until the 19th century, when archaeologists uncovered over 30,000 cuneiform tablets. Suddenly, the lost languages of Akkadian and Sumerian could be read again. The Epic of Gilgamesh, the world's first great story, was among them. Ashurbanipal's library became a time capsule, an accidental gift from a vanished world, saved by the very fire that destroyed it. Our journey now takes us to the floodplains of Pakistan and India, home to the mysterious Indus Valley civilization. Over 4,500 years ago, as Egypt and Mesopotamia flourished, the Indus cities of Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa rose. meticulously planned, with straight streets and standardized bricks. These cities boasted the world's first urban sanitation system, private bathrooms, wells, and covered drains beneath the streets. The Great Bath at Mohenjo-Daro stands as a testament to their engineering. Unlike Egypt or Mesopotamia, there are no grand palaces or royal tombs here. The Indus cities seem strikingly egalitarian. No monuments to kings, no temples to gods, just orderly, efficient cities built for the people. How did they govern such a vast, organized society? The answer remains one of history's great mysteries. The Indus people were master artisans and traders, leaving behind exquisite beads, pottery, and terracotta figurines. Their most enigmatic legacy, small stone seals, each carved with animals and a line of mysterious symbols, the Indus script. Despite decades of study, we cannot read a single word. The script remains undeciphered, its meaning lost. The inscriptions are brief, with no long texts or Rosetta Stone to guide us. Were these seals for trade, religion, or identity? We can only guess. We see their cities, their art, their trade networks, but not their voices, their stories, or their names. The Indus Valley remains a silent civilization, its history locked away in an unreadable script. For centuries, the Indus Valley thrived: clean cities, prosperous trade, stable society. Around 1900 BC, decline set in. Cities emptied, construction faltered, and the script vanished. The old theory of violent invasion has faded. There's little evidence of war or destruction. Instead, climate change likely doomed them. The rivers they depended on began to dry up as monsoons weakened. The Gagar Hakra River disappeared, crippling agriculture and forcing people to abandon their cities. No single catastrophe, just a slow, relentless loss of water and food. The survivors scattered, adapting to new lands, but their urban civilization was lost, a stark reminder of nature's power. We've crossed continents and centuries, tracing the rise and fall of lost civilizations. The Maya, the Sumerians, the Indus Valley, each mastered their world, each left behind wonders and mysteries. Their brilliance was undeniable, their achievements astonishing. Yet they vanished, their cities fell silent, their knowledge faded, their voices lost. Often their own success strained the environment: deforestation, soil exhaustion, and rigid systems unable to adapt. These are not just stories of the past. They are warnings for us too, as we face our own challenges. The ghosts of lost civilizations remind us, even the greatest societies are vulnerable to the world they shape. The most persistent thread connecting the downfall of these ancient societies is the devastating impact of climate change. It is a story we heard again and again on our journey. Today, we find ourselves in a disturbingly similar position, but with a crucial difference. The climate change we face is one that we are actively creating and accelerating. The stories of these lost civilizations serve as a powerful warning from the past. They show us what happens when a society's environmental foundation begins to crack. This is not a message of despair, but one of urgency and hope. Unlike the people of the past, we have the knowledge to understand what is happening and the advantage of hindsight. The choice we face is whether we will heed their silent warnings or follow them into the history books. What is our legacy? The story is now ours to finish, and the whole world is waiting to see what we do next.